You might think it as someone who is Lucanian, dangerous, and monstrous. But what if I tell you that ghosts can also be comical as well as witty? Strange, na? Well, I also thought the same when I read a short story called Ghost Trouble by Ruskin Bond for the first time. Mostly with ghosts, people hear terrible and bold chilling stories, but Ruskin Bond has simply personified the spirit to narrate a very beautiful story which is liked by children and adults alike. Simple yet engaging narration of this story keeps it charming. So today, I am going to read a chapter from this story in which Preet, the North Indian ghost, occupies a house and plays pranks with members of the house. So without any further ado, let's get started. Uncle Banji, who came to stay with us for long periods when he had little else to do, which was most of the time, was soon to suffer. He was a heavy sleeper, and once he would gone to bed, he hated being woken up. So when he came to breakfast, looking bleary-eyed and miserable, we asked him if he was feeling all right. "I couldn't sleep a wink last night," he complained. "Whenever I was about to fall asleep, the bedclothes would be pulled off the bed. I had to get up at least a dozen of times to pick them off the floor." He stared suspiciously at me. "Where were you sleeping last night, young man?" "In grandfather's room," I said. "I have lent you my room." "It's that ghost from the peepal tree," said grandmother with a sigh. "Ghost?" exclaimed Uncle Banji. "I didn't know the house was haunted." "It is now," said grandmother. "First my spectacles, then the sweet peas, and now Benji's bedclothes. What will it be up to next, I wonder?" We did not have to wonder for long. There followed a series of minor disasters. Vases fell off tables, pictures fell from walls, parrots' feathers turned up in the teapot, while the parrot himself let out indignant squawks and swear words in the middle of the night. Windows which had been closed would be found open, and open windows closed. Finally, Uncle Benji found a crow's nest in his bed, and on tossing it out of the bed, finally, Uncle Benji found a crow's nest in his bed, and on tossing it out of the window was attacked by two crows. Then Aunt Ruby came to stay, and things quieted down for a time. Did Aunt Ruby's powerful personality have an effect on the Preet, or was he just seizing her up? "I think the Preet has taken a fancy to your aunt," said grandfather mischievously. "He's behaving himself for a change." This may have been true because the parrot, who had picked up some of the English words being tried out by the Preet, now called out "kiss" whenever Aunt Ruby was in the room. "What a charming bird," said Aunt Ruby. "You can keep him if you like," said grandmother. One day, Aunt Ruby came into the house covered in rose petals. "I don't know where they came from," she exclaimed. "I was sitting in the garden, drying my hair, when handfuls of petals came soaring down on me." "It likes you," said grandfather. "What likes me?" "The ghost." "What ghost?" "The Preet. It came to live in the house when the peepal tree was cut down." "What nonsense," said Aunt Ruby. "Kiss, kiss," screamed the parrot. "There aren't any ghosts, Preet or other kinds," said Aunt Ruby firmly. "Kiss, kiss," screamed the parrot again. Or was it the parrot? The sounds seemed to be coming from the ceiling. "I wish that parrot would shut up." "It isn't the parrot," I said. "It's the Preet." Aunt Ruby gave me a cuff over the ear and stormed out of the room. But she had offended the Preet. From being her admirer, he turned into her enemy. Somehow her toothpaste got switched with a tube of grandfather's shaving cream. When she appeared in the dining room, Foaming at the mouth, we ran for our lives. Uncle Banji shouting that she would got rabies. I hope you really enjoyed this chapter. And as always, thanks for watching.